All right, in this video, I'm going to be going over What a God by SEU Worship, and the song's in the key of A. So the intro starts off like this. It does one pass with the piano. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, into the verse, and it goes right into it. So for the intro in this verse, it's an F sharp minor, but I'm playing it as a F sharp minor 7. So basically I'm doing an A in my right hand, and then my left hand is doing an F sharp minor, and I'm playing the 5th. And all these chords in the first verse, I'm adding the 5th to each chord. And so the intro, 2, 3, 4 to the 5, which is an E. And I'm doing it it's an E sus4. So here's your E sus4. Another way to think about it is if I'm playing an A and then I take the 3 and bring it to the 2, that's an A2 over that E bass. So either way, it's a E sus4, because here's your E, and you're hitting the 4. It's also an A sus2. So E sus4 and A sus2 is the same chord. So however you want to think about it. And then it goes to the verse. Who thought I'd find you in the lowest place? Who knew you'd feel me in the ground? And it repeats it. Who knew you'd make good of my mistakes? And then this next part, it walks down to the 4, like that. So you walk down. And then it's a 1 over 3. And then a 5. And so the same thing with your left hand, you're hitting that 5th in all the chords. And then my 1 over 3, I'm hitting my C sharp bass. And then you're hitting the A to the E. So if you repeat that. And you kind of hit part of the chord in your right hand too. So I'm hitting the A chord in my right hand. And I'm holding that A as I resolve that E to kind of let that be like a sus4. And then it goes to the chorus. What a God, what a God. So what I'm doing here is the same 4 chord. So I'm kind of walking up with my left hand to the E, the F sharp minor or the 6 minor, 1 over 3. So that's what your left hand's doing. The right hand is just doing this. One more time. And then it jumps up to the C sharp. Like that. So the chorus, what a God, what a God. 3, 4. What a God. To the C sharp. What a God, what a God. In the second pass, you jump up to the C sharp. And then you end on the 5. Into verse 2. Who thought you'd show up for perfection? So it's the same as the first verse, but my left hand is now down an octave, and you're not hitting that 5th. Because if you did, it would just be too muddy, where it sounds okay up here, because it almost sounds like a chord, but down here it's just too muddy, so I don't play the 5th on any of them when you're this low on the piano. Da, 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 you for perfection. What kind of God looks for the lost? So right here, you're just hitting a, what's that, A flat, or a G sharp, A, C sharp. And so the count, 1, 2, for perfection. It's on the 2 and. So what kind of God, 1 and 2 and. Da, 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 sinner. And then. That. So all you're doing is the A scale into that 4 chord. So it's like an E over C sharp. And then you walk up to the E. the left hand, you're kind of hitting rhythm. When you build. What a God, what a God. And you just do regular chords in this second chorus. God, a God. What a God, what a God. So I'm kind of doing full chords on my right hand. So I'm doing the D and I'm adding the 2. Here's your D, I'm adding the 2, and I'm adding octave A's. Here's my E sus4. My E, I'm adding the 4. And then my F sharp minor, 7, which is basically an A over F sharp. And then it's a 1/3, which is an A over C sharp. I like to add the 2. So on all these 1/3s throughout this whole song, I'm adding the 2. Usually I don't add the 3, so it's just kind of has that kind of dissonant sound. Another way I play it is I'll do octave B. So instead of this low A, I'll hit the B and I'll hit the top B. Or I'll bring it up in inversion and do octave E's. So same chord, just different inversions. And as we build the song, sometimes I'll kind of jump around. Same chord, just moving up and down inversions. So let's see. Na da da da. Not a God, what a God. What a God, what a God. What a God, what a God. And then it goes into an instrumental. So it breaks down. So it's a D to an E, F sharp minor, 1/3. And then you're doing a hook on top of those chords. 2, 3, 4, 1. 2, 3, 4, 1. Like that. So the hook. And then the second pass. Same thing, but you do up an octave. And the second time, like that. So over the chords. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, like that. And so it keeps doing that through the bridge. If the highest place I reach is at your feet, then I've done it all. So actually the first bridge, it doesn't do the hook. If the best thing that I've seen is your glory, then I've seen it all. Your love has changed my life, forever satisfied, God. And you follow the melody line. You are my everything. And then the second bridge, if the one word is the only thing, here's the hook. That I've seen it all. Da, 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 da. And then the drums come in, you're building. Forever satisfied, follow the hook. You are, or the melody line. Here's my sus2 that I always do. Everything. We'll do it one more time. If the one word is the only thing I speak. Love is satisfied. My everything. And then it takes it. And then it goes into a drum bridge where it's just the drums. If the best thing that I've seen is your glory, then I've seen it all. And then the band comes in on a 2 minor. And so the way I play my 2 minor, it's basically a 1, let's see. like a 4 sus2 with octave A's over that 2 bass, which is a B. And it kind of hits it. Again, I'm hitting that sus2 when I do the 1/3. 1/6. You are my everything. Like that. And so the hits, let's see. If the best thing that I've seen is your glory, then I've seen it all. Your love has changed my life, forever satisfied. God, you follow the melody line. Everything. My everything. You are my everything. And then you end it on the 4. But that's it. That's kind of the whole song. But yeah, hope that helps.